Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to practice the immune sequence as given by BKS Iyengar in 2009 in response to the swine flu. We'll be doing some long held poses. We'll work with props to offer the body support, and we'll be doing inverted postures. And I'll provide some alternative variations for those who can't manage to hold the inversions.
Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you're notified when a new video is available.
We're going to start with Uttanasana, supported Uttanasana, and we'll use a couple of bricks and also a couple of chairs. The level of support that you may need underneath the crown of the head is very much dependent on your forward bend, your hamstring length, your hip flexion, and what's happening in your lower back. Ideally, when we come forward and rest the head down, we want the crown of the head, like a headstand, on our support. For example, I'll be working with the brick setup in this inverted T shape to start with. The feet as wide as the mat. I'll come forward and find that place where the head can rest. Now, as I'm coming down, because of my capacity to forward bend, I'm coming more towards the hairline than the crown of the head, which would indicate that perhaps I don't need the extra height. So as you navigate what support you need, see if you can manage to bring the very top of the head onto your support so that the head is in a headstand position. Ideally, you find the right support to rest the crown of the head so that we can sustain the pose for 5 minutes. I'll provide an alternative option for those who feel stiff. Look up in this corner. But otherwise, let's find our way into the pose so that we can be here for 5 minutes. Crown of the head down, back of the neck long. And do your best to keep the knees straight. The chairs are here to offer support for the back of the hands, the wrists and the forearms so that the arms are not active. The legs are staying dynamic. We're maintaining the grip of the kneecaps, the activation of the quadriceps. But then can you let go of these abdominal muscles? Can you let the navel and the abdominal organs retreat back towards the spine as you exhale? Even though the legs are active, we want to feel that we are becoming quiet. Smooth, slow, steady breathing. Keep the shoulders lifted away from the head so the neck is long. Equal weight through the four corners of the feet. Inner heels, outer heels, inner balls of the feet, outer balls of the feet. Spread the little toes. Maintain the grip of the kneecaps, the lift of the quadriceps, so the back of the thighs are long and broad. Consciously relax your facial muscles. Let the muscles and skin around your eyes soften.
Feel the jaw, relax the tongue, inside of the mouth soft. Now, as we come up, we want to move slowly so that we stay quiet. Take the hands off the chair, press the hands into the chair seats, slowly raise the head up. Pause here for a moment, halfway. Lift the head just a little higher than the heart so that the blood can drain back from the head to the heart. And then hands onto the waist, and let's stand all the way up. Now we'll move on to downward facing dog pose, and again it's a supported pose. We'll work with 2 bricks, one flat on your mat, the other one diagonal. The crown of the head is going to rest on this diagonal brick. Now sometimes when we do put weight onto the bricks with the head, they slide on the mat. If you have something heavy, such as a sandbag, that can go on the mat behind your bricks, so it stops the bricks from sliding. There is another option of support that we can use underneath our head, and that is a bolster. And I'll demonstrate that if you have a look up in this corner. Now again, we're going to hold this pose for 5 minutes, so it's definitely worthwhile setting yourself in such a way that you know you can sustain it. So playing around with the height underneath your head is important. You may need to turn the brick on its blade shape so you've got more height for the head to come onto. When we set the head, we want the ears to be between the upper arms. We're not tucking the chin into the chest. So as you place your hands for dog pose, then lift your hips up and find, can you press the crown of the head onto your brick? You can start with the heels elevated. Press the palms, elbows are straight. So we're not leaning into the bricks so much that the arms are not active. The arms are definitely active. We're pressing into the palms, straightening the elbows. As you're ready, we can descend the heels, but don't let the descent of the heels cause the tailbone to pull down. Press back the shins, squeeze the outer calves in, so that when you press back the shins, you're not bowing the legs. Inner heels and outer heels evenly working towards the floor. Feel now as you exhale that the navel and the abdominal contents can soften and retreat back towards the spine. Smooth, slow, steady breathing. Can you relax your neck, your throat, your jaw? Smooth, steady inhale. Slow, steady exhale. Abdominal contents retreat. Our intention is to be still, be quiet, so that the mind can get steady. So you might notice you have a tendency to fidget, to move, to be restless, to constantly adjust and readjust. Notice that it may be an indication the mind is struggling to settle. Stay with it, be present, and continue to breathe. Now, as we prepare to come out of the pose, lift the head off the bricks. Slowly bend the knees, come down, and have a rest. Give yourself room enough that you can rest your head down, perhaps the forearms coming underneath the forehead. Rest the arms completely, rest the legs completely. And then slowly make your way up. We'll move on to Prasaritta Padottanasana, the spread foot intense stretch pose. Let's take the legs wide, and if you step your heels to the back edge of your mat, our intention is to bring the crown of the head down onto the floor. So again, we've got that headstand expression. If you know that you're not going to be able to reach your crown to the floor, then bring in bricks so that you can raise the floor to your head. Let's come into our forward bend. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly fold forward. Place your hands to the floor. And as we come down into the pose, you'll walk your hands back, bring the crown of the head down, and find out whether you need to widen your stance, narrow your stance, or bring a brick or two underneath the crown of the head. Lift the shoulders away from the neck. And to encourage broadness across the collarbone and chest region, reach your hands out to catch the outer ankles. Lift the shoulders away from the neck. We maintain the grip of the kneecaps, the activation of the thigh muscles, and see that the abdominals are passive. So we're not clenching, hardening, contracting the abdominal muscles. Rather, we're allowing the navel, the abdominal contents to soften and retreat back towards the spine as we exhale. Again, maintain that the crown is on the floor, not the hairline, not the forehead. So the head is directly down and there is a little bit of pressure, a little bit of weight on the crown of the head. Feel the broadness across the upper chest with the arms out wide. Feel the broadness through the pelvic abdominal area with the legs out wide. The hands can help to squeeze the outer ankle bones in. All the while maintain the activation and the lift of the inner arches. Now, as we prepare to come out of the pose, you'll slowly lift the head off the floor, press your hands to the floor at the front of the mat. Bring yourself into that halfway forward bend. Spine parallel to the floor. You can narrow your stance somewhat, then place the hands onto the waist. Inhale, stand all the way up and step the legs in. Now we move on to Sirsasana, headstand. If you need to use the wall, take yourself to the wall so you have support. And if you know that kicking up, coming into the full pose is a challenge for you, or if you're menstruating and you're not going to invert, I will give an alternative option. Look up in the corner here. You will note I have now got extra padding for the crown of my head. I have a second sticky mat folded in half on top of my normal mat. So I'll place the elbows shoulder width apart, fingers interlocked. Press the outer wrist, the little finger side of the wrist firmly into the mat, and then crown of the head to the floor. Lift the shoulder blades. Then, as you're ready, lift your hips, walk the feet in, bring your hips over the shoulders, and find your way into Sirsasana. And we stay. Squeeze the inner legs together, ankle bones, big toe bones together. There is a slight internal rotation of the thighs to keep those inner feet in contact. And similar to Tadasana, press the thighs back and the buttocks forward. Middle buttocks press forward. Direct your tailbone up towards your heels. So you go on lengthening the lower back that way. See that the little finger side of the wrist, the outer wrist, are pressing down, and the thumb side of the wrist, the inner wrists, are rolling in towards the head. All the while, the entire forearms pressing down from elbows to wrists, wrist to elbows, and you're lifting the shoulder blades. Shoulder blades lift up away from the neck. Intend to keep the back ribs broad as the lower front ribs lift up. Contain the lower front ribs. Contain the abdomen. Then get steady in your breath. Now we bring the legs into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Press the buttocks forward as the knees peel out so the inner thighs are lengthening. Tailbone up. Then extend the legs out wide. So the legs are in an expression of Upavishta Konasana. Lengthen from groins to inner feet. The ball of the big toe lengthens away from the groins. Go on directing the tailbone up. Then slowly raise the legs all the way up. Unite the legs again. Inner feet together. Now Prasaritta Sirsasana. Squeeze the inner legs together. Drive the left forearm down as you turn the legs towards the right. Turn the navel towards the right. Sweep the outer left hip forward and around towards the right. Go on driving both forearms down, both wrists down. But when you press down more consciously into that left forearm, it may help with that rebound, coiling up and twist. Then come back to center. Drive the right forearm down and twist to your left. Turn the legs. Take the outer right hip further forward and around. Take the navel around to the left. Go on directing the tailbone up. Both forearms and wrists pressing down, shoulders lifting. But again, it's this idea of driving the right forearm down to get the rebound coiling up through the right side body. Back to center. Wrists pressing down. Ekapada Sirsasana. Take the right leg forward and down. Roll the inner left thigh back and press the head of the right thigh up. Both legs straight. Keep the shoulder blades lifting up the back, away from the head. Then Prasaritta Ekapada. Take the right leg out wide to the side. The right thigh is turning out. The inner left thigh is rolling back. So there's a slight internal rotation of that left leg. Raise the right leg all the way up as you inhale. Match the inner feet. Pause there, get steady. And as you exhale, take the left leg forward and down. Ekapada Sirsasana, one leg headstand. So you're drawing the toes towards the floor, but resisting the head of the left thigh up. All the while, roll the inner right thigh back. Then take the leg out to the side, Prasaritta Ekapada. Externally rotate the left thigh, internally rotate the right thigh. Inhale, raise the leg all the way up. Match the inner feet, direct the tailbone up. And slowly make your way down.
We move on to Dwi Pada Viparita Dandasana, which is our supported back bend using the chair. We are also going to support the head, so we're using a bolster or perhaps more height than a bolster. Maybe we need to put blankets on top of the bolster or put bricks underneath the bolster so that our head can easily reach and rest. This time, rather than bringing the crown of the head definitively onto the bolster, we want to look for an even arc through the torso and through the sides of the neck, front and back of the neck. So we come through and we'll intend to use the wall to anchor our feet. If you know that having your heels on the floor is problematic and your lower back doesn't like it, then elevate the height underneath your feet. You can use bricks underneath your heels. But as we come through, we take back of the pelvis onto the back of the seat of the chair, but we also want to feel the lower shoulder blades are coming onto the front of the seat of the chair. Then we can press the hands into the arms of the chair as we slide the body over, but we're not letting the shoulder blades come off. The lower shoulder blades are still skimming the front edge of the chair. Find out, is this support suitable for you? Is the head going to rest? But note here, the back of my neck is in extension. So I actually want to create an evenness from back of the neck, sides of the neck, front of the neck. It's more the back corner of the head now that's going to be on the support. I'm feeling I need a little more support for the head, so I've placed a blanket on top of the bolster and we'll come again into the pose. Lower tip of the shoulder blades just skimming the front edge of the chair, and so that the neck is not in extension, I'm wanting to find that adequate support. Again, we do want to stretch and straighten the legs, so if you need height under the feet, bring that into place. Keep the elbows underneath the level of the seat of the chair and maintain the grip here. We're not going to sweep the arms through between the legs of the chair. We want to feel that we're creating that even arc through the spine all the way through to the head. Not distorting the shoulders. As you press your thighs down, you'll feel the abdomen lengthen, but don't puff the belly up. Keep the belly relaxed. Broaden the sacrum, broaden the buttocks. There is a slight internal rotation to the thighs as you are broadening the sacrum and the buttocks. And you're actively pressing the thighs down. And then consciously slow your breathing down. Now, as we prepare to come up, you can bend one knee, the other foot can dig into the wall to help you sit up. Pull on the arms of the chair, you can dig the elbows into the seat of the chair as you come all the way up. Sit comfortably and rest your hands on your thighs, maintain the lift of the chest. We want to resist the tendency to lean forward and drop the chest after coming out of Viparita Dandasana. Now we'll move on to Salamba Sarvangasana, the shoulder stand, and we'll use our support underneath the shoulders, belt for the elbows. We'll hold the pose straight legs for some minutes, and then we'll come down to Halasana, plough pose, for a couple of minutes. If you can't reach the floor with your feet, please put a chair here so that you can reach your feet to the seat of the chair. Then we'll take the legs back up and we'll do some leg variations in shoulder stand. So having rolled over, place your hands on the back, stretch the skin on the back up, and take your legs up to Sarvangasana. Reapply the hands on the back, skin being drawn up the back through the hands, and unite the legs. Internally rotate your thighs so the ankle bones, big toe bones come in contact. Then press your thighs back and press your buttocks forward. Middle buttocks pressing forward, tailbone up towards your heels. Lengthen your inner heels up away from the groins. Lengthen the balls of the feet up away from the groins. Then peel the outer edges of the feet back down towards the outer hips and contain the outer hips. Squeeze the outer hips in without externally rotating your thighs. Now let's slowly lower the legs to Halasana, plough pose. So whether the feet are on the floor or on a chair, press the head of the thighs up. You can stretch the arms back for a moment, releasing any contraction in the bicep muscles that happen from your shoulder stand. As you press the head of the thighs up, feel that the front body lengthens. So the abdomen is long. The hands can come back to support the stretching and the lifting of the back upwards. Keep your throat soft.
So as the head of the thighs are pressing up and the front body is lengthening, we want to feel that the spine is drawing in. It's not rounding, it's not bulging back. Now let's come back to Sarvangasana, raising the legs back up. Stretch the skin on the back up. You might like to readjust your hands. Inner legs grip together, inner feet together. So we start from there. Keep the left leg as it is. As you exhale, take the right leg forward and down for Ekapada Sarvangasana. One leg shoulder stand. As the toes are reaching towards the floor, resist the head of the right thigh up. Cut the outer right hip up. And roll the inner left thigh back. Lengthen the inner left foot up towards the ceiling. Then take the right leg out wide to the side. Parshva Ekapada Sarvangasana. The toes are reaching towards the floor, but the outer right hip is cutting up towards the ceiling. The head of the right thigh is pressing up towards the ceiling. All the while, left ankle stays vertically top of the hip. The spine is drawing in and up. Inhale, raise the leg up. Match the inner feet, take a breath. As you're ready, exhale, take your left leg forward and down. Ekapada Sarvangasana. Reach the toes towards the floor, but resist the head of the left thigh up towards the ceiling. And cut the outer left hip up. As you go on, rolling the inner right thigh back. Lengthen the inner right foot up towards the ceiling. And then take the left leg out wide. Parshva Ekapada. Go on cutting the outer left hip up. Squeeze the left buttock forward. Roll the inner right thigh back. Press up through the inner right foot. Inhale, raise the leg back up. Readjust your hands. Inner feet together. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. The legs are in Baddha Konasana. Squeeze the buttocks forward, press the knees back. Keep your heels aligned, vertically top the perineum. Then stretch the legs out wide for Upavishta Konasana legs. Raise the legs all the way up. So we're back in shoulder stand, Sarvangasana. And now let's come down, Halasana, and remove your belt. Slowly come down. Slide your shoulders off your support to rest here. Head and shoulders resting on the same level. Arms completely relaxed.
As you're ready, bend up the knees, roll over to the right side and come off your support. Now we move on to Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, which is our supported bridge pose. You'll see here I've got cross bolsters set up. One bolster going across the width of the mat, another bolster going along the length of the mat on top. So they look like a seesaw. I want support underneath the feet. So whatever you've got that can bring the height of the feet and the lower legs up to the height of your pelvis, see if you can establish that. So I've got 4 bricks and then blankets, and I'll be wanting to press the feet to the wall. If you don't have this many props in order to set up for Setu Bandha, then I will demonstrate a variation you can do using 2 bricks up in the corner here. As I sit, I'm facing the wall, and when I lie back, I want to feel that the skin of the back is being dragged down towards the hips as I slowly slide myself over with the head and shoulders coming to the floor. I don't want the bolster to go too far down the back, and so we need to see, is this a good distance? Can we straighten the legs, or are we going to slip off our bolsters too much? It can take a bit of adjusting, so it's definitely worthwhile rolling off, sitting up, readjusting where your props are. But can you then feel as if you're standing on your shoulders like a shoulder stand, roll your shoulders under so you're standing on the tops of the shoulders, and turn the palms up. We want to feel that the back of the pelvis can broaden. So I have my feet hip width apart here, and I'm pressing my thighs down into the bolster. Pelvis is broad. Diaphragm region is broad. Sternum, chest is broad. Then notice if there's any gripping in the spinal muscles. Can you let go there? You feel the bolster pressing into your thoracic spine between your shoulder blades, encouraging the broadening of the sternum. Allow the sternum to move towards your chin, and then soften your chin towards your sternum. Throat relaxed, jaw relaxed, tongue relaxed, facial muscles soft. We want to feel that the armpit chest, the sides of the chest originating from the armpits, are lifting vertically up towards the ceiling. As you feel the body settling, notice the breath settling. And notice your mind settling. Now, as we prepare to come out of the pose, bend up your knees and slide your body away from the wall so that you come off your support. Let the back settle down flat on the floor. Keep the knees bent. Then as you're ready, you can roll over to the side and come to sit up. We'll move on to Viparita Karani now, lying with the legs up the wall, the back of the pelvis on a bolster. And we want to give ourselves adequate height. Depending on how bulky your bolster is, you might like to put 1 or 2 folded blankets on top of your bolster, or if you've got 2 bolsters and they're quite flat, use 2 bolsters. But you'll see I've got at least a hand's width between the wall and the bolster so that the buttocks can come back towards the wall and the pubis can settle into a flat position. We don't want the pubis to be tilting up because that contributes to the chest deflating, and we want the chest to be expanded. So we can come into a squat next to the side of the bolster and bring the side hip. I'm bringing my right outer hip onto the very edge of the bolster, then I'll sweep the right arm through so I come onto my right shoulder, take the legs up the wall, and then I just want to work to align the body. I do have a flat blanket for my head. And as I said, we want to feel the back of the pelvis and the back of the waist as well are on the height so that when the legs are up the wall, the pubis is flat. It's not lifting up, causing the chest to shorten. So as the pubis moves back, it's as if the pubis wants to sweep back between the thighs towards the wall so that the pelvic bones and the lower ribs are the same level and the abdomen is quiet. Now you can bind the ankles together with a belt to keep them together so the legs can rest into the belt. But here, roll your shoulders under, just like we did for Setu Bandha, the bridge pose. As if you're standing on the tops of the shoulders, then you feel your chest is open from the collarbones all the way to the lower ribs, and the armpit chest area is also open. Drape the arms down, turn the palms up. And let yourself settle, release, and rest. As we prepare to come out of the pose, slowly bend your knees. Knees out wide and the legs are in simple cross legs. Slide the feet down the wall, cross the ankles, let the knees fall out wide. Then before we press ourselves away from the wall, move the blanket that was under your head away from you. And then we're coming out slowly, pushing away from the wall so that the back of the pelvis can come down onto the floor. The cross legs are then on our support, knees out and down. Spinal muscles relaxed. And swap the cross of the legs, opposite shin in front. And again, let the knees fall out and down. Spinal muscles relaxed. And as you're ready, bring the knees together, roll over to the side, and slowly come to sitting. Now we'll set for Savasana. If you can have a long, narrow blanket for the spine to lie on, then you can have another folded blanket for your head. We will lie back. Sit on the floor in front of your long, narrow blanket. Draw the buttock flesh towards your heels, and then allow your spine to settle onto that long, narrow blanket. Again, buttock flesh towards the heels. Turn the palms up and draw your shoulder blades down the back so the chest feels broad. Then extend the legs one at a time and allow the legs to rest. Body completely at ease. Make sure that your head is supported enough and that the support of the blanket comes all the way underneath your neck, so the neck is also supported there. Spinal muscles completely soft. Then you can close your eyes and draw your attention inward. Easy, relaxed breathing. Soften the skin, the muscles around your eyes. Let go the point between your eyebrows. The skin of the forehead completely soft. And feel the cheeks, the lips also relaxed, softening. Then notice the teeth and the jaw. Can you relax the teeth away from each other, the jaw completely at ease? And the tongue relaxing, releasing away from the roof of the mouth. So the inside of the mouth is soft. As we prepare to come out of the pose, gradually breathe in deeper and place your hands across the abdomen. Slowly bend up your knees. Roll to the right side. Place your hand underneath your head. Draw the knees up. Support your head there. And as you come up, press into the left hand. Bring yourself all the way up. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me.
For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.